Whoa, what a fiery exchange at the net. You guys wanted me to talk about it? Well, let's go. As always, this coverage is brought to you via the Doctrine of Fair Use, the Fair Dealing, and the Digital Millennium Act. Maria Sakkari, the Greek goddess. That's right, guys. I started that name. Give me credit. And Yulia Putinseva. Now, listen, before we get into this video, let's be clear. Look, I've met both of these ladies several times. And to me, they're both sweethearts. I think they're both classy ladies, especially off the court, all smiles. They're just very nice professionals. However, guys, during the heat of competition, your adrenaline starts to flow. And look, you're playing for money, points, prizes, trophies, championships. You're playing for your livelihood, your career. Things do get heated during battle, so you can't really hold what happens on the court against these people, because off the court, these players are they're very nice, they're very classy, and they're just normal human beings. However, guys, this exchange at the net got very heated between Maria and Yulia, and I want you guys to comment, who do you think is at fault here? So we all know, and look, let's go back a few years ago on the channel here, right? We had our Good Energy Awards at the end of the year, and you guys rated Yulia the most disliked player on tour, right? The category was between Arina Sabalenka, Yelena Ostapenko, and Yulia Putinseva. Number one was Yulia. Number two was Yelena, then Arina. But during the last few seasons, we've seen Arina. She's been through a lot off the court. It seems like she's just revamped her image. She's growing into a very classy woman. However, the Coco Gauff issue at the French Open, it seems like she's, took a step back, but however, she's come a long way. Yelena's come a long way, and I think Yulia has as well. And again, I've met all of these ladies off the court. I think they're all amazing off the court. Let's not hold what happens on the court against them. However, guys, who's wrong here? Now, Maria, we all know Yulia. She has the worst handshake. That's just how it is. There's nothing new. If you watch tennis, if you watch this channel, I've spoken about it several times in the past. You guys also rate her as having the worst handshake. When she loses, she just doesn't like to shake your hand. Now, some people will say that's poor sportsmanship, or poor sportswomanship, rather. But, okay, possibly. However, guys, I think Maria might have pushed the issue, right? She's played her before. She knows how she is with the handshake. I think Maria kind of provoked her, right? So Maria would go on to say to Yulia, "Look me in my eye when you shake my hand." Yulia got upset, and she kind of did a motion down at the net, and then she told Maria to go F herself. Then Maria really kind of got angry, and then she came over to Yulia, and she had more words for her. She proceeded to say, "Nobody likes you on tour." I mean, look, I don't know, okay? I think that's a tough thing to say. But again, Yulia's comment to Maria was tough as well. During the heat of battle, who's wrong? I mean, who's wrong? Who's right here? I think Maria probably should have let it go, and none of this would have happened. But again, she had words, and I felt Maria felt some type of way due to the handshake. Me personally, look, you give me a shady handshake, I won the match. I'm moving on to the next round. I won't really take that personal. I think Maria took the handshake a little bit too personal. She proceeded with more words. Yulia's already fired up. She lost the match. Her adrenaline's flowing. She says, "Go F yourself." And she pretty much says, Maria says to Yulia, "Look me in my eyes, be a good person." Yulia's like, "Look, I am a good person." But then Maria would go on to say, "Nobody likes you on tour," and things got really, really heated, as Yulia would go on to say, "Just leave me alone." Who's wrong here? Who's right here? What do you guys think? Comment below. But let's talk about what's going on in their careers. Now, the Greek goddess, guys, she's 29 years old. She's been as high as rank 3 in the world. I never thought I'd really see... how do I put this? I never thought I would really see Maria outside of the top 50. She's ranked 86 right now on the main tour. And I never thought I'd probably see her outside the top 20, to be honest with you. She's struggling. She's 15-18 on the year. Last year coming off of a 25-16 season. While the previous 3 seasons, right, a staple at the WTA finals, 3 consecutive seasons with at least 30 wins. She won her last title in the 23 season at Mexico, Guadalajara, where half of the draw was depleted. And prior to that, she had a 4-year stretch where she didn't win a title since 2019, where, that was a 250 title in Morocco. She had that stretch of about 20 straight quarterfinals plus without winning a championship. And I mean, that's really, really tough, right, guys? She's approaching 500 wins on her career, but just about for every match she wins, she loses one at this point of her career. Now, Yulia Putinseva on the other side of the net, she's 1 year older. She's 30 years old, but she's got the hardware that Maria doesn't, right? She's got at least a most recent title in Birmingham a couple seasons ago, but she's not necessarily a great grass player either. She's got a losing record on grass overall, right? 21-26, while the Greek goddess on grass does have a winning record, 31-24, but nothing to sneeze about. Both ladies not really off to a great grass start, as Yulia's 1-3, the Greek goddess is 2-2. But Yulia is currently inside the top 50. How about top 30, right? She's been as high as ranked 20th on the world tour. But overall, I think both ladies are struggling on the year. They're both having a losing season. And I think this is what happens when there's so much at stake. A lot of the big stars aren't in this tournament. This is an opportunity to pick up points and kind of move yourself along to Wimbledon as you get in shape and form. Overall, I think both ladies kind of reacted a bit immaturely. I would say overall, after the handshake, as long as it's nothing violent, I think you have to let it go and move on. I do think Maria kind of provoked her a little bit, but I do think Yulia overall, she's herself. This is who she is. We know her to be this way. And we've seen issues with Maria as well. Remember, Danielle Collins told her to shut her face. She didn't really have much to say to Danielle, but she was very aggressive to Yulia. Overall, my personal opinion, listen, guys, I think when your emotions are flowing, the matches will get heated. Let's not hold this against these two ladies. Like I said, they're both amazing athletes, but sometimes it happens this way. Comment below, what do you guys think? Overall, I would love to see both of these ladies. I would like to see something like this propel both of these ladies to at least a great third quarter and end the year on a positive note, because right now they're both having losing seasons. And that's not what I think of Maria when I think of her as a tennis professional. I think of her as a top 10 player. And I think of Yulia with her variety as someone that can play on multiple surfaces. But the reality is probably she's a better clay player or hard player than grass court player. But she has great variety. And I just think if she can keep her composure a little bit more, I think I don't want to compare her to Nick Kyrgios, but I think Nadal said it best. If he could keep his composure a little bit more, we'd be talking about how many slams he has versus his outbursts. Tennis in a Minute. I'm your host, Good Energy. Like the video, show some love. Comment below who was right, who was wrong. The Greek goddess would go on to say, after asked by the interviewer, I don't think we'll ever have dinner for the rest of our lives. But she would go on to say, it doesn't matter to me. I have good friends. Tennis in a Minute. We'll be back.